More than 165 people will come together in person and online tomorrow for the Alzheimer's Association's 4th annual Black Caregivers Conference.
Right now, we are joined by Barbara Miller-Williams and Andrea Cook with the Alzheimer's Association's Western New York chapter. Thank you both so much for coming in this afternoon.
Thank you.
So before we talk about this conference, if you can, tell us a little bit about the struggles Black caregivers face.
Well, I can certainly attest to the struggles because I had the unfortunate experience of dealing with it from a personal perspective. Both my mother and my father suffered from a form of Alzheimer's, particularly dementia. And so the struggle is one of oftentimes feeling overwhelmed, looking for resources, and just literally crying out for help in the midnight hour, seeking any sources of reassurance or assistance that's out there. So one thing that I have found that as a new board member of the Alzheimer's Association is that I'm learning more and more of the resources that are out there. And I'm proud to say that I am an ambassador because I think that within the minority communities, we need to know what services are there. The services are there. They're available, and as a caregiver, the resources are needed 24/7.
And I am honored to serve on the board with Barbara as well. And Andrew, when we talk about this and hearing from Barbara, hearing from other board members about the challenges that they went through in their own plight with Alzheimer's and dementia, there are resources available. In fact, that's why we're here talking. There's an entire conference dedicated to that. So what are some of the things that the obvious things that people may not know that are available right here in our community?
Sure. So one thing, Barbara mentioned that, sometimes in the midnight hour, you're looking for support. So one thing that I'm really proud of the Alzheimer's Association for having is our free, confidential 24/7 helpline. So you can call that at 3 a.m. on Christmas Eve during the blizzard of the century. If you need someone to talk to, there's a social worker on the phone around the clock that you can reach, and it's completely free and confidential.
And if I may, Barbara, how just something seemingly so simple as having someone on the other end of a phone line, how big would that have helped you and you and your families struggle with this?
It would have been a tremendous assistance because you get to the point where you begin to say, I can't do this. Physically, you can't do it, but mentally and emotionally, you have to do it because these are your loved ones. These are the people that you're taking care of. But to know that there are resources there, that is a tremendous thing to know that exists because it keeps you going. It keeps you going when you feel like giving up. In the minority community, unfortunately, oftentimes we're not aware of some of these resources, and that's why this conference is critical. It's important. This is an opportunity to take something that has been hidden in the back room, pushed to the back of the house as something that does not apply to those in the minority community. This is a wake-up call. It does happen. It exists, and there are resources and people that are available that want to intervene and help us get through the storm on behalf of our loved ones.
This is the 4th year for the conference. What would you say has maybe changed in terms of education and research in these 4 years?
Gosh, so much. I mean, we talk about now being in an era of treatment for Alzheimer's disease, that there are new medications that are available, that we're learning more about risk reduction and prevention. So now more than ever, we want to be able to reach communities. I'll tell you, the thing I hate hearing most is, I wish we knew about you while we were going through this. Now more than ever, we want to reach people early so we can give them supports, help them get access to these medications, things that will change the trajectory completely with the disease. And we'll get into a lot of those things at the conference.
And the early sense of getting information, everything from a diagnosis to getting information to being prepared early is so important with this disease. I do want to see if we can have time to get to Wendy Williams. Before we do that, if folks want to sign up, again, in person or virtual, what can they do for tomorrow?
So you can call our 24/7 helpline, which is on the screen now, 1-800-272-3900. They can get you registered. or there's a link there, bit.ly, Black Care 24. So you can join in person at the Frank E. Merriweather Library or hop on Zoom. We're happy to have you however you can come for as long as you can come.
Wonderful. And we, of course, will make sure we have all of that on our website. Now let's talk a little bit, very, very quickly before we go, about Wendy Williams. What is so surprising about the news?
Gosh, I mean, it's just heartbreaking, you know, especially Barbara and I were just talking, someone who has communicated as a career. For her to develop this disease, frontotemporal dementia, which is also what Bruce Willis was diagnosed with, where it's not memory impairment that you think of with this disease, it's the loss of the ability to communicate. Very often the person is sharp, they know what they want to say, they think clearly, but they can't get the words out. And for someone who is a communicator, it's just crushing.
We will not, there is a discussion, a lot of it is happening online now about this documentary, some of the clips you saw from that, and whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. But I do want to talk about when famous people like Bruce Willis, when they are diagnosed with this awful disease that so few people know a lot about, that has to be a good thing largely for the fight against this disease.
100%. You know, Barbara talked about people pushing it in the back room. It doesn't, you know, we don't want to talk about it. People coming forward, it's such an act of courage and bravery, and it changes the conversation. It ignites the conversation. It raises awareness, and when you raise awareness, you can raise funds. There's more efforts that start up to get research going to find ways to prevent a disease and find cures. So her courage could make a world of difference in this fight.
All right, before we let you two go, for anyone who may be interested in going to the conference with any questions, Barbara, I'll ask you as someone who has experienced it firsthand, what would you say to anyone out there?
I would say, please be present. Please come down to Jefferson and East Utica. Come in and be prepared to ask questions, to obtain information, to seek and to learn everything that you can. This is an opportunity that will change your life. I encourage anyone, whether it's themselves personally, a family, a friend, loved one, or neighbor, it's an opportunity to learn about a condition that can affect any one of us at any time in our lives. It's no respect of race or gender. It can affect all of us. So I would encourage anyone, please stop in and get the information.
Barbara Miller-Williams and Andrea Cook from the Alzheimer's Association, thank you both for being here. Thank you for what you do for our community.
Thank you.